Hi, everybody.
Happy New Year and welcome back to Keeping It Real with Marilyn and Steve. So we're here today to talk to you about the fact that we have started our annual month of no shopping, no spending money, pantry challenge. And for us, this is something we've been doing for a few years and we truly do enjoy it. So we wanted to share with you, if you want to follow along with us and do kind of the same thing, that's awesome. Or if you want to pick another month that works best for you to be able to do this. It's a great way to learn a little bit more about yourself and your spending and to have kind of fun too. It's always good to challenge yourself.
Right. So let's define it. Really, what this means is you just can't go grocery shopping. You can't spend money in any way. Don't go out and buy gas. We're allowed to pay our bills. We're allowed to pay for any emergency that may happen. Last year, for instance, all of our smoke detectors died in the first week of the challenge. And because we heat our entire home with a wood cook stove, we needed to make sure that those smoke alarms were taken care of. So that was a purchase that we made, but only because it was an emergency. Aside from that, there is no spending, no going out to eat, no ordering
on Amazon.
on Amazon. There's no ordering food to come be delivered to the house. None of that. Basically, if you don't have it, you either have to make note of it, learn from it, and fix it for next year, or go without.
And come up with some new ways of doing things. So like Steve said, no grocery shopping, no using your credit card, no using cash that you've got on hand. Basically focusing on what do I have in the house, what do I have in my fridge, in my freezer, in my cupboards, in my pantry if you have a longer term pantry space. And there's a lot of great reasons to do this.
We're not just trying to torture ourselves. It's fun. First off, the challenge is fun, but the other thing that comes in useful is we get to actually see how well are our preparations, how good is our food pantry, how good are the tools and supplies that we have in our workshop, how do we have enough gas to be able to keep the cars going for a month, the generators, yard equipment, do I have enough diesel for the tractor? It's a way of testing to see if we're good for at least a month. Last year we tried 3 months, and this year we may go beyond a month, but we're going to start with 1 month because we also don't want to hurt ourselves based on world situations that we have no control over. And with inflation, we don't want to use up all of our stock only to have to replace it when it's twice the cost.
So the reasons that we do this is, one, it allows to rotate things through our pantry so that we know, as you should always be doing, it should always be
First in, first out.
in, first out. You should always be fronting your pantry shelves and your cabinet shelves just like they do at the store, where the oldest things should be in the front and the newest things should be in the back. It allows us to save a little bit of money post-holiday. For a lot of people, from Thanksgiving through Christmas, you end up with more bills, sometimes more bills than you had planned, because everybody is thinking about holiday meals, holiday shopping, going out with friends, that kind of thing. And sometimes when January comes around, you can be a little bit surprised by what that credit card bill may be. So this is a great time to kind of pull yourself back a little bit and get those things all paid off because you're not going out spending money on other things. Or if you don't have that kind of a bill to deal with, you may want to save that money up for something special, either a special family outing or getting something that you've been wanting to get but just haven't been able to save the money up for it. So there's
or at the end of the challenge, you find out what you're short on or what you may be missing, and then you can use the savings for that month to help pay for those things.
Yeah. So now we're going to go over some of the benefits. As well as saving money, there are other reasons why we do this and things that we get out of this process. So the first thing for us is January is the month we start planting our garden. And at this point, we're going to be checking over What do we have on the shelf? What are we using up? What do we have a surplus of? So we know what needs to be focused on to grow this coming year and what maybe we don't have to plant as much of. We did a lot of tomatoes this past year, so we probably won't be planting as much because I have a feeling we're going to have a surplus of some of the items that we had done this year. So that makes that easy. And what I'll do on another video is show you some of the items that are left that we still have from last year's garden, fresh, and some of the things that we have canned.
Potatoes, as far as fresh goes, potatoes, onions, squash, pumpkins, all of that's in cold storage, but then everything that was canned or anything that was purchased that's in a can. Then we also have our long-term storage foods that are put up a little bit differently, but we'll be able to see where we're light and also where we're heavy on supplies. And sometimes you find that you have things that you put back a long time ago thinking you were going to use it and never use it. And those are items that we know to just cut from our inventory. Maybe we'll be creative, use it up just to get it out of there before it gets too old. But no need to replace it because it's something that we tried and just don't normally get, or that somebody gave us.
Yeah.
You know, a jar of 7-bean salad. It's not something that we would normally go out and make for ourselves or purchase. But if somebody gave it to us as a gift, we're not going to waste it. We'll find a way to use it, but once it's gone, it's gone.
Yep. Or if we discover it's something we really like, well, then we may decide to get some more of that.
Yeah, find the right recipe and put it in our book.
One of the other things that this lets us do is get some organizing done. And that's a big thing for us. And it's organizing not just of our food supplies. There's a lot of other things that we need to get organized as well.
Right. And organizing is part of doing inventory. And by that, a good example would be, I'm sure a lot of you out there have coffee cans or peanut butter jars filled with a variety of nuts and bolts and screws and washers and nails that are just a mess. They're all organized into a jar or a container, but they're all different sizes and for different purposes. What we'll do is, especially also because it's in the winter months and there's a lot less for us to do outside, I'll bring one of those jars in, we'll dump it out on the island in the kitchen, and me and Marilyn will, almost like building a puzzle, we'll pick through all the different screws, nuts, and bolts, organize all of that, and put them into their own containers. One thing that does is it organizes, but it also lets us know what resources we have for the upcoming projects that we're going to be moving into in the spring and summer. I won't have to go to the hardware store and pick up 3-inch decking screws if I have hundreds of 3-inch decking screws, but right now I'm just unaware of it because they're randomly thrown in one of those mishmash containers.
Yep. And if you followed along with us on our outdoor kitchen build, you got to see how we reused and upcycled different bits, pieces, and parts that we already had, that we got for free. And we were able to really make an awesome space that we're excited to be able to get into using a little bit more.
Yeah, and if you haven't seen that video, maybe we'll put a link to it in the bottom. But it's a 3-part video. We're not carpenters or general contractors. We just know how to get by, and we do things the way we do them. But we only spent $200 in its entirety to build an outdoor kitchen with a wood fire cook stove, and that's out in our garden where it makes the most sense. Yeah. So we could do canning and cooking and things like that in the summer months outside, because our stove in the house is a wood fire stove. When it's 100 degrees outside, we don't want to light that. So going out into the garden where it's outside gives us a place that we can use our stove and not cook ourselves out of the kitchen.
Another piece of not going shopping and not doing the spur of the moment purchases, it's going to allow us to look at what can we repair instead of replacing. Now that might be clothes, it might be something else that breaks.
Simple fixes around the house.
Yep.
A lot of the projects that you say, well, I'll get to it, but never do. Well, now we're going to get to them, because all of that is part of when we do this challenge. It's not just to challenge what we have in stock. It's to use what we have in stock and to get to some of those little projects that you just sometimes overlook or put back because you're busy doing something else. Yep. So this way we can fix things, and then after they're all fixed, we can see what we have left in our stock for that as well. And that may be wood. What wood do I have? We think it's smart to always keep 2x4s and plywood and random scraps and pieces of wood but in storage, just in case a simple repair or even a more complex repair pops up.
Yep. And all of this also means we're going to be doing a lot less driving. And in our area, at least, with gas prices back on the rise, it means we're going to save a little bit with that. Now, we do have the advantage that we have our business is connected to our home, so that we don't have work driving to do. So we understand if you're following along on this challenge and you're like, yeah, there's no way I can go a month without gas because there's no way I can get back and forth to work.
Right. We're not speaking for everyone. This is
No.
This is how we're doing our
Yes.
challenge. But if you do drive every day to work, I had a job where I drove a half an hour in and a half an hour back every day. And that included even on the weekends. I was on call, so sometimes I had to drive both ways 7 days a week. And if that's the case, having that much gas stored is almost impossible, but cutting back in other ways, not going to the grocery store or shopping or out to eat or any of these other things that we're cutting out, that limits the amount of driving you're doing. So it still will cut back on the amount of gas that you're spending.
Yep. It also lets you maybe learn a little bit more about what's in your local area that you can do, or places you can visit, things that are free, things that don't cost you an admittance or, you know, anything to be able to go there. So you can maybe learn a little bit more about your neighborhood, your community, and things that you can do. Spending more time, more family time, more time at home if you like to do board games or you like to do crafting. Getting friends together at home at somebody's house to do that instead of going out for one of those paint out nights. Create your own. Learn what it is that you can do that you love to do. So, excuse me. So for us, there is so much benefit that can come out of this. You're saving money, you're saving time, you're saving resources, you're learning more about where you have things working great and where things may not be working as well. So what we'd like to do is take you along this month with us and put up a video every few days and let you know how we're doing, maybe give you some hints and tips and show you some of the things that we're involved in during this time, since we're not going to be spending any money at all. What are we doing with our resources? And maybe if we run into some challenges, what are those challenges and how are we facing those? And at the end of this, what have we learned from it? And hopefully anybody who decides to travel along on this journey with us, you can leave comments, let us know how you're doing, give us some great ideas about how you're dealing with not being able to spend anything. And until our next video, everybody, Happy New Year again. We wish everybody an amazing, awesome coming year. And other than that, I think we are good until next time.
We'll see you in the next video.
Yep. Okay, everybody. Bye.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoy our videos and want to help us out, please like this video and subscribe. If you know someone who would like our videos, make sure to share, as this really helps our channel out. Again, thanks, and see you soon.